Okay, so today we're going to be doing a chuck roast. This one's 2.5 pounds. I'm just going to keep it simple with my dry rub. Got a little salt, pepper, garlic going on here. I'm going to make up another injection butter to put into it. I've never tried that before. With a chuck roast brisket. This is basically just a poor man's version of a brisket. Also got some jalapeno poppers that we're going to do with honey pecan cream cheese and blueberry cream cheese. Stay tuned. Okay, to start, you're going to need 3 basic tools. I've got them lined out here and I'll walk through it and show you why. First, you need a good knife, good sharp knife. You're going to need a butter knife and a spoon. Doesn't matter exactly what size. Those are really helpful and I'll show you why here in just a second. Just like that. Here's where your spoon comes in handy. See all these seeds running through there. The pit. What we're going to do, push that spoon down in there and just pull that stuff out. Much easier than trying to dig all of it out with your fingers. And that's what you're left with. By the way, you might want to wear gloves for this or wash your hands thoroughly after messing with these, because anything you touch on your body will be on fire after doing this. Alright, so as you can see, we've got all of them hollowed out. Got all the seeds and everything out of them. The seeds, if you leave them in there, or even if you just leave a couple, it'll definitely add a bunch of heat to these. Not so much looking for the heat as I am the flavor. So, you don't need your spoon anymore. You don't need this knife anymore. You can put those in the sink to wash later, dishwasher, whatever you got. What we're going to do first is the blueberry cream cheese. You take your butter knife. See if I can get this on here for y'all. And just stuff it. The amount is really up to you. I like to make sure that I've got at least enough to come up to the lip where it's hollowed out. You can see it's pretty much even all the way across. And we're going to do about 3 that way, and we're going to do 3 with the honey pecan. So I'll get these stuffed up, get back with you. Okay, so we've got all our peppers stuffed. The blueberry is here. And this is the honey pecan. We've got 3 of each. And I know a lot of y'all have seen these videos and stuff if you follow the Pit Boss pages, and these meals will pop up over and over again. Everybody adds their own little twist. This is more or less for the people that are just getting into this. These are really simple meals, easy to make. Doesn't require many ingredients or much skill, and they turn out really good. So you more seasoned guys, if y'all are watching this, leave some comments that might be helpful if you see something I can do different. And by the way, the really cool thing about these is I'm not going to put these on the grill for a while. You can always prep these, put them on a plate, put them in the refrigerator and let them sit for a while, because we're going to put our chuck roast on first, let it build up a good bark, get up close to temperature, and then we're going to throw these on. And I'll go over a tip with you on how to crisp your bacon up before you put it on the jalapenos. That way you get really crispy bacon and you don't have to cook it so long that your jalapenos just turn into mush. Okay, so here's the ingredients for the dry rub. We're just using garlic, kosher salt, and black pepper. The ratio to this, I'm going to do 5 tablespoons of the salt, 2 tablespoons pepper, 2 tablespoons garlic. You can go a little heavier on the pepper if you like that peppery taste, more Texas style, traditional. I like about a 5, 2, and 2 ratio. We're just going to mix this up here in this bowl. I'm not going to put you through the torture of watching me measure this out and stuff. I'll get back with you shortly. Alright, so when you're done, your mixture should look something like this. And this is an all-purpose rub. Everybody knows, or should know, about SPG, salt, pepper, garlic. It goes good on literally anything. You can use it on vegetables, meat, fish, whatever. This stuff is awesome. Keep that measurement that I gave you earlier, the tablespoons. I use 5 tablespoons kosher salt, 2 tablespoons garlic powder, 2 tablespoons black pepper. And you can adjust that to your liking, cut down on the salt or give it a little more pepper or whatever. And also use it as a base. You can add some paprika for color, things like that. So just a helpful hint. Alright, got our chuck roast all seasoned up, butter injected with my dry rub on it. Grill is coming up to temp. Actually, it just got there. It's probably going to go a little bit higher. We're going to let it settle down a little bit first. Get it on there and get a temperature probe in it. Also, I'm running a smoke tube today. I'll show you all that in just a second. Put a little more smoke flavor in there. Alright, got our chuck roast on. Here's a smoke tube. You can get those for $5 at Dollar General. Just add pellets to them, light the pellets, and give it time to catch really good. Blow the flame out, it'll smoke. Here we go. Alright folks, so we're at 145 on the internal temp. It's been sitting there for about 30 minutes. I'm running 250 now. I started out on 225 for about the first hour. We are between 3.5, 4 hours into this cook, and that's what we're looking like. Got a good crust on it. We're gonna get it over here in some aluminum foil, wrap it up, put a little liquid in there with it, finish it off, get it up to somewhere around 200 degrees. We're gonna probe it for tenderness. I've got 2 pieces of foil for the first one. We're gonna make like a little reservoir here. Man, this thing's already juicy. Just something to hold these juices in. Today I'm using Pepsi Vanilla. It don't take much, maybe a 1/4 cup or so. Hoping these sugars will really cook off in there and make this thing taste great. Get this thing wrapped up, put back on the grill. It's at about 145 right now. We're shooting for a temperature around 200 degrees, but we're going to probe it for tenderness. 200 degrees is just a guide. Once you get close, you want to start checking how tender it is there. Alright, got it wrapped up. We're going to temp probe in it, put it back on the grill. We got that temp probe pretty close to where it was before. It's just a couple degrees off. Maybe that was from me videoing. This really takes a lot of effort, cooking and videoing at the same time. Usually I do this stuff twice as fast, having to explain everything for the camera and get a good angle and all that. But this is what it's going to look like when you get it wrapped up. We're just going to let it cook. Alright, so we're 5 hours into the cook. 176 on the internal temp. Got it on 225, but it's running about 250. Does that sometimes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take it back out of the foil. Now that I've got it past its stall, try to help firm it up a little bit. We're going to turn this into sliced beef for sandwiches. So I'm going to try this and see what happens. All right, and here's what we've got at the moment. We're getting ready to put this back on. Man, it's looking and smelling good. Alright, so actually, we're climbing back up in temp. It dropped down to about 150, and it's jumped 17 degrees in the last 30 minutes. And what it did was it put a really nice bark on it. You can't really see much because of the smoke, but man, it made a really nice bark. And I've decided what I'm going to do. Instead of using that juice for an au jus sauce, I'm going to take the chuck roast off, put it on some fresh foil, put the juice back over the top of it, because this thing is really starting to dry out now, and that juice is going to help out. So I actually kind of like that it happened this way. Now that we've got it out of the grill, you can really see the bark that it's formed. Really nice. We're going to get this juice on there and get it back on the grill, get it up to temp. Alright, so we've got our chuck roast back on the grill. Here I've got my bacon that I'm going to wrap the poppers in. Just took a sheet pan, put a little aluminum foil on it. I've got my oven preheated to 350 degrees. We're going to put this bacon in here long enough to crisp it up a little so we can put it around the jalapenos. And by the time the jalapenos finish, the bacon should finish crisping up. Just makes a really nice combo. Alright, so we had our bacon in for about 10 minutes on 350. As you can see, it's shrunk up a little, crisped up a little. We're going to let it sit for just a minute, cool off just a little, then we're going to wrap it on the poppers and get them on the grill. Alright, and while we're letting our bacon cool off, my chuck roast has got up to about the temperature I wanted. I'm going to pull it off at 190. I'd let it go a little longer, you know, in the 200s, but it'd get really tender then and be more like pulled beef instead of the slices that I want to do for the sandwich. So we're going to pull that off and get it in a cooler and let it rest. Here's our chuck roast. Cook is complete. Wrapping it up now. I'm going to get it in the cooler and let it rest. This thing's really hot, so I'm going to do this quick. But as you can see, I've got a towel in the bottom. Put a towel right over the top here. That's going to help insulate the cooler, keep some heat in there while this thing rests. I'm going to let it sit. As you can see, we've got our bacon here. You're going to need some toothpicks. I apologize for the angle. I'm filming this by myself. It's kind of tough. We're going to do the blueberry ones first. I'm going to pick those out. And what you want to do is take your bacon and just wrap. It's really that simple. Take a toothpick, through and through. It's going to hold that bacon in place. And once this crisp up on the grill, pull these toothpicks out. That bacon's going to shrink up around this, and it'll hold on by itself. This is just for the cooking process. I'm going to do that to all these. Not going to make you watch that on camera. So let's get it done. Alright, so we've got them wrapped up. That's the blueberry. That's the honey pecan. And I always like to cook at least 1 or 2 extra pieces. Some are smaller. They crisp up a lot more. That one didn't want to wrap, so that's something to keep in mind too. Another side we're going to be having is this frozen corn on the cob. That's my dry rub I put on top of it. Smothered it in butter. Put a little bit of turbinado sugar here. Sugar in the raw. That stuff is awesome. And believe it or not, I like using this frozen stuff because just my experience with it, you leave it frozen, put it in aluminum foil, smother it in butter, put your seasonings on, put it on the grill. And once it comes off, you let it rest about 15 to 20 minutes, and it seems like it soaks up so much more flavor. So y'all give that a shot and tell me what you think. Alright, so we've had the poppers on for about an hour now at 250. Got the corn back there. I've got some mac and cheese that I'm going to throw in here too. We have some smoked mac and cheese with this. It's looking good. Alright, so for those of you who are wondering, I just used the Velveeta shells and cheese. Cooked it per the directions on the box. Added a little bit of mozzarella and put the bacon bits in that came with this. And we're going to put it on the smoker. Let it get some smoke flavor. Alright, so our chuck roast has been resting about an hour. And we've got the poppers to pull off. They're now done. You can see the bacon's crispy. Got the mac and cheese to pull off. And the corn. We're going to get it off the grill, get it on the table, and get back with you. Alright, so the chuck roast has been resting for well over an hour now in the cooler. You can see it's still got the insulation there. Whew, that thing is still hot too. We're going to get it over here, put it on the cutting board. I'll open this up with a close-up for y'all. And then I'm going to set the camera up and do a little bit of slicing. See how this thing looks. Man, it is juicy. The steam from it is fogging my camera lens up. I apologize. But that thing looks absolutely amazing. Get my phone light out so y'all can see this. Good, Bart. Man, it looks good. What I'm going to do to start off with is I'm just going to split it straight down the middle here. Man, that thing is tender. I don't know if y'all can see this, but there's a pretty decent smoke ring on there. Not bad for a pellet grill. And what we're going to do is just make thin slices here for sandwiches. You want it about the width of a pencil. It's the same way you do your brisket. This thing is super, super tender. We'll leave it there for a minute. Get a couple pictures here. I mean, you can see it's just, this thing is falling apart, man. Absolutely delicious too. What you call the bend test. And this one is, that's pretty decent. It's not bad. It's super tasty.